In this lesson, we are going to learn about loops. This is the 4th lesson in our Python beginner course. So let's get right to it. So there are actually 2 types of loops in Python. The first is a for loop. For example, if I want to do for number in range, and range is a calculation method which gives me a range of numbers. So I'm going to put 0 and 5 and then a colon, and I'm going to just print the numbers. So let me just explain what I did here. I took numbers from 0 to 5, not including 5 because range doesn't include the last number. It's an upper limit, and then I can just do whatever I want with those numbers. So let's try it out. I'm going to click the play and then run and debug and just debug. So what did I get? I get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the first type of loop. The second loop is a while loop. So the way to write that kind of loop is while number smaller than 100. Okay? And then I can just do print, we are, of course, quotes for string, we're not there yet. And I don't want to be stuck in an infinite loop, so I need to do something about number. So first of all, let's comment out these and let's define that number is actually 90, and then I'm just going to do number plus equals 1, which means number equals number plus 1. Let's save that, and then I'm going to just run this again, and I can see that I have all of these prints of we're not there yet, but we weren't stuck in an infinite loop. We did actually finish the loop. So how many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got exactly what we wanted because we are smaller than 100. Okay. Now let's move on to something more complex. If we want to make real use of loops, we need to actually learn about data structures. So let's do that. First of all, there's an array or a list. I am going to just create it like this. I can go and write names equals brackets, and this is actually brackets. I know I said in previous videos brackets for parentheses, but here I do actually mean brackets. And then Oren, and then Jonathan, and then David. Okay, so this is a list of names, and then what I want to do is just iterate over this list and print the names. So I can do for name in names, print name. And then I can run this again, and I can see that the names were printed. Okay, so this is just one use of the actual for loop in using something like a list. Now, what if I had something like a dictionary? So I can do actually names dict equals dict, and then I have here names, and then I can have the same ones. Let's just copy this. And of course, it's not a colon in dict, it's just an equal sign. And then the same goes, but instead of using just for name in names, I'm going to just do for name in names dict in place names. And then it's the same. But what if I had a list of dicts? Or if I had many properties inside the dictionary? Let's say I had something like employee equals dict, and then I have age equals 26, and then I have position equals manager, and then I have start date equals date, salary equals 10K. So let's say I have this dictionary, and now I want to iterate over these properties. So I can't do what I did over here for name in names, because that is not a list. But if I do want to go over each one and print it, I can do something like this. For key in employee dot keys, and then I can do print employee in the place of key, and this will actually print all of my properties. And I'm just going to comment this out and comment this out as well, and just try it out. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this. This is, by the way, a good opportunity to show you what happens when an error pops up. So I didn't fill in the date as I should have, so I'm just going to remove this for now because we have a few other properties. So I'm just going to do that and then restart. So I have here 26, manager, and 10,000. So what if I wanted to do something a little bit more printable? I don't want to just print the values. I also want to give some context. What is this value that I'm printing? So I can do something like this. I can go and use something called F strings. So I can do F and then quote, and then I can do open curly brackets, key, and then colon, and then another curly brackets, and employee in the place of key. And then there's a little bit more context. I'm going to comment this out, and then what happens is that the F string replaces these variables with the actual values, and this is the string that is printed. So let's see that happen. So I have age 26, position manager, and salary 10,000. So these are the things that you can do with a dict and with a list. There are other types of data structures in Python, but I don't think it's of any use to show them now. You have to start somewhere, and you'll get familiar with data classes and sets and all of those type of things later on. It's not something that you should know right on the beginning. You have to start somewhere, and lists and dictionaries are a good place to start because they are the most commonly used. Okay, so we already did the while loop, and we already did the for loop. And those are the two most interesting kinds of loops. And we also learned about data structures. Now I want you to learn about functions. And from there we start creating some amazing things. So click this video right here and let's go talk about functions.